Here today to introduce the SureFlame S405. Today we're going to do basic maintenance, identify some of the components used in here, better help you understand how this unit works. I'm going to take the lid off here today, 5/16 bit, 4 screws, there's 2 on the back already removed here. Remove the lid. As a schematic, if you need to reference it, I'll show the wiring on there. Alright, we're going to identify the components in here for you. This is your DSI controller. This is your transformer. Takes 120, breaks it down to 24 volt. Everything inside here runs on 24 volt. Your motor is 110. These 2 relays are the same part. This is your power relay. This is your motor relay. This is your airflow switch. If that doesn't sense airflow, it'll shut the gas valve down here. You got an on switch, and you have an off switch below that. Also here is your high limit sensor, your high limit switch. This is a dual fuel unit, being natural gas. You'd have it set here. Put it on propane, you would flip this up. You have a gas regulator valve. You have a shut off to turn the fuel off here. On here in the front is the thermostat. You set what you want to automatically turn on and off the cycle. We're going to do basic maintenance on the SureFlame S405. We're removing the motor here and the cover, disconnecting the fitting there, the pipe train. We're going to flip this over and access our spark plug and flame rod to do our annual maintenance. This should be done basically once a year or every season that the unit goes out. There's 4 screws you have to remove on this cover. Take your pipe wrenches, and remove this. Loosen this up. There are 3 self-tapping screws we'll have to remove. There's one on each side towards the top. There's one directly on the bottom. You have to pull the motor fan assembly out. Careful not to bend the fan. You can fold this unit over and support it on a table. Okay, now that we've removed the motor assembly, we're going to disconnect the flame rod. It has the black wire going to it and the spark plug with the white wire. First I'll start by doing the spark plug. You would put your socket on there. I've already loosened this. So you take your spark plug out. Spark plug, you replace that with a new one. It is an 1/8 inch gap we have on these. I wouldn't recommend cleaning the plug. I'd always replace it. You could clean it if you had to, but I would only do that in the field or like an emergency situation. But always replace that. Next we're going to get to the flame rod. There's the black wire on here. Pull it off. This one's new, but this would usually be sooted up. So you want to take some emery cloth or sandpaper, or take it to a wire wheel or whatever. Just be careful of the porcelain. You're going to clean this up, get it all shined up, like so. When you go to put it back in, I highly recommend putting never sees on these threads, so that makes it easier to get it out next season. So just reinstall that unit. It's a little tight, so get your hand around there. And you don't have to make this super tight, you can just snug it down with your wrench. Reattach your black wire. Put in your new spark plug. Put the never sees on these threads as well. When you put your spark plug in, you need to check what location the electrode is at, and we'll show you that once we get this unit flipped over. Go ahead and put your spark plug wire back on. Make sure it snaps in place. And now it's ready to put the motor assembly back on and line up those 3 screws. So now that we've serviced the spark plug and flame rod, we're going to put the motor assembly back in. Just being careful not to bend your wires here. Just lower it back over and line it up. Try to get your holes somewhat lined up where they originally were before you get in there too far. We've got our screws lined up. You can use a drift or something to turn it one way or the other. It's going to be a little tricky. Get them in there. A little patience and perseverance. Cover back on. 4 screws of that. Took out earlier. Last thing you want to do is get your pipe train back up. Completes the service, yearly service of the flame rod and spark plug replacement.